Forget Brexit, forget Trump. We have a new fault line dividing the Western world. Depending on your point of view, Serena Williams' tirade against an umpire at the US Open was bang out of line, or a rallying call for women in sport to be treated the same as men. Last Saturday, she exploded into a massive McEnroe-style tanty against Carlos Ramos after he docked her a point for receiving coaching, then another for breaking her racket. She furiously denied she'd been coached, called him a liar and a thief. Then he took a whole game off her. "I have a daughter and stand up for what's right for her," she shouted, suggesting he was penalising her, not because of code violations that men get away with all the time, but because she was a woman. Her behaviour has divided tennis, as has a controversial Australian cartoon depicting Williams having a tantrum, which many have called out as racist. Yes, she lost her cool and was rightly punished for that. But why shouldn't she be angry? And should she really be penalised for continuing this battle of the sexes?
I'm all in favour of women doing great things and achieving, and I really respect, you know, Serena's talent, what she's achieved, etc. But I do get slightly dismayed when things are drawn into this happens because I'm a woman and this happens because I'm a man. Because actually, you know, what Serena was... What I want as a woman is to be treated equally. And what I mean by that is, if I smash a racket up in a game that you're not allowed to smash a racket up, I deserve to be penalised. If I start shouting and bawling and not relenting at an umpire, I deserve to be penalised. If I take, or if coaching has happened in a game where coaching is not allowed to happen, I deserve to be penalised. And actually, when people are talking about this as a sexist thing, when you look at the violations that have been issued for men and women...
We are about to, actually.
Yeah, so actually, we've got some stats on this then. So it is way more men, so 26 men were fined and only 10 women were fined for violations. So I don't believe, actually, that women are being treated unfairly because of their sex. And I just think it's nice to have the debate, but I think at some point we need to stop trying to make everything about men versus women.
We need to spin through a few examples of where men have been equally outspoken, maybe rude, and they haven't been even docked a point, just merely given a code violation, so sit tight. In 2016, French Open, Nick Kyrgios given a code violation for shouting at a ball boy and then accused the umpire of incredible bias. No further action. At the Rio Olympics, Andy Murray had a code violation for calling Carlos Ramos stupid. No further action. In 2017, Novak Djokovic shouted, "You're losing your mind," for being docked at first serve. For a time violation, Rafael Nadal criticised Ramos for treating him like a machine after being given a warning for slow play. No further action. In this year's Australian Open, Nick Kyrgios shouted at the umpire for giving him a foot fault but wasn't given a further penalty. Then at Wimbledon, Djoko accused Carlos Ramos of double standards for a code violation after smashing his racket. He shouted, was given multiple verbal warnings, still no point docked.
Can I come back on that very quickly before everyone else comes in? Because whilst I'm sure that they're very valid examples, of course, if you take the actual same competition and you look at the same things that have happened, men have been penalised more in this competition.
And can we bring in some other but
I don't know
Sorry
why...
to be strict.
Yes.
But, you know, this is like a game of tennis. We must stick to the rules.
OK, well, very briefly, indeed. There's two things going on here. Is there sexism in tennis? Yeah, there probably
Especially
is.
Especially in this US Open, the girl taking off her shirt.
Yeah, in society, there probably is. But where she's wholly and utterly wrong. And I just want to read you a quote. "You're attacking my character," said Ms Williams. "You will never, ever be on another court of mine. You are the light." Right, Ms Williams, get over yourself. You don't own the entire tennis industry. I think you have to remember she's talked about, in interviews, she has postpartum issues after the birth of her child. And the line that, "I am a mother," I think actually that woman's got troubles. I think if she had her time over, she wouldn't behave like that. I think the umpire acted exactly correctly. And my great shame, before I yield, is that the young woman who won, Naomi Osaka, who was 20, unfortunately, incredible victory, a 20-year-old beating a powerhouse. That was somewhat shaded over, and I think that was a great shame.
Greg?
It's quite interesting, the Women's Tennis Association, the chief executive, Steve Simon, it's worth looking at what he said. The WTA believes that there should be no difference in the standards of tolerance provided to the emotions expressed by men versus women. Obvious. And is committed to working with the sport to ensure that all players are treated the same. Again, obvious. Then he says, we do not believe that this was done. So he's come out on her side. I didn't see the whole match. I only saw, so I've only seen the clips on the news. I found her language quite offensive.
Yeah,
and I don't think in any sport people should be able to get away with that sort of language to a referee.
If I get up now and start smashing the set and smash a camera and say, I am a father, well, it's not going to... It doesn't justify my actions.
No, I don't think you'll be here next week.
I think this really has divided the game, and it's divided the authorities, it's the Women's Tennis Association, and also Billie Jean King, who we're about to hear from, have come out and basically said that when a woman is emotional, she's hysterical and she's penalised for it. When a man does the same, he's outspoken and there are no repercussions. Thank you, Serena Williams, for calling out this double standard. More voices are needed to do the same. I mean, McEnroe built his career on angry outbursts. Why can't a black woman, like Serena Williams, who has been a pioneer in the sport, in women's tennis,
look, if there's a complaint here, I think people got to focus on the right complaint. There may be an issue to do with whether coaching should be allowed. I mean, you can have coaching in football, track and field, basketball and so on. If Serena is hacked off about that, then she should be hacked off about that. What slightly offends me here is that she's parking herself in a column where she does not belong and dissing real struggles. I mean, the truth is, $70,000 fine, I mean, honestly, she can afford it, number one. Number two, if you're going to mount a protest and you know you're going to break the rules, what is heroic about breaking the rules is you know you're going to take the punishment. Rosa Parks didn't complain that she got arrested because she knew she was going to get arrested. That was the point. Muhammad Ali, when he refused the draft, knew he was going to be locked up, and that's why he did it. To kind of mount a protest and say, "Oh my gosh, you should," why are you punishing me? That's less than heroic, and I feel a bit queasy about the fact that she's putting herself in. She says
do you think she was playing a card. She says, "I'm here." Played a mother card, the woman
She says,
card.
"I'm here fighting for women's rights and for women's equality and for all kinds of stuff." I mean, give me a break. I mean, honestly.
You're there to play tennis and win.
Yes, but what we don't know is whether there's something going on in tennis underneath all this, and this is just it's brought to the public attention. But that actually women feel that they are underprivileged in tennis.
I have no doubt.
I don't know.
I have no doubt at all that in tennis, as in almost every other walk of life, women are disadvantaged. But then focus on that fact. That is not what she's doing here.
How should she have played it?
Dignity.
Not verbal abuse, obviously.
Absolutely not verbal abuse. She might have come out afterwards and said...
Which she did, actually.
No. She might have come out afterwards and said, look, I'm not going to argue with the umpire because it's his court. But we have a big problem here about the issue of what constitutes coaching and how you do it. That's what a grown-up would do.
I don't think it was about coaching at all. I think
that's what the whole point was. She complained that she wasn't being coached.
But the coach then said he had coached her, but she hadn't seen
it. No, he said he
admitted
had done
he had
coaching.
Tried.
He didn't say he coached her because
he did. He said go up to net with it. He made a gesture that says go up to net, and then she did well. She then says she didn't see him making that gesture. But I think
we just have to clarify. We're not sure whether she saw that coaching.
She said she didn't see it.
She didn't, but I genuinely don't think this is about whether she saw the coaching or not. I think this is about a slow burn, and she was like a pressure cooker, and she expressed all the pent-up frustration.
It's about a new mum who's come back to work.
As far as she was concerned, on not just women in sport, but mothers in sport.
I think she's not as good as she was. She's losing to a 20-year-old. She's, pardon my language, she's using Americanism. She's pissed.
I think that is over the top. I don't think it's over the top, Nick. You're not inside her head. You don't need to...
I watched part of the game.
You're not inside her head.
6-4, 6-2.
What you can criticise her for is her actions. And my point is that this, as far as she knew, had nothing to do with whether she was a woman or not. And Michelle's made the point that actually, if you look at the data, actually, there isn't a bias against women when it comes to code violations. If she had a point to make about the way the game is being umpired, she should have made that point in a dignified way. And, of course, she's the best tennis player in the world, possibly in history. People are going to listen to her.